Hey there, so in this video I want to talk about my top 10 favorite large language models. These are the models that, in my opinion, strike the best balance between intelligence, usability, speed, and overall practicality. Some of them are general purpose, some are specialist models, but all of them stand out in their own way. So before we get to the main list, here are a few honorable mentions. First, we have Suno version 5. This is one of the most impressive music generation models right now. It's capable of producing music with an actual sense of rhythm, structure, and expression. It feels extremely creative, and it doesn't feel like you're working with a machine per se, especially when you're guiding the mood or genre. And the music, like I said, that it produces is genuinely very impressive. The next is DeepSeek version 3. In an open-weight ecosystem, DeepSeek is doing something genuinely important. It's not about being the flashiest model, but about bringing strong reasoning capabilities and efficiencies to the local and open source community. For researchers or developers who prefer self-hosted solutions, it's definitely one of the main standouts. And also we have Gemma 3N. This is a very interesting one because of how small it is. It's super lightweight, can run on mobile devices, and is genuinely impressive for how much it can squeeze out of such a small model. So moving on to the top 10, and at number 10, I've actually got a tie between Veo 3.1 and Sora 2. Both represent the cutting edge of video generation. Veo 3.1 is a little bit more accessible and gives you cinematic results with pretty good consistency. Sora 2, on the other hand, is arguably more powerful, producing slightly more realistic motion and lighting, and it also gives you the effect of it not being AI generated, because it can give you that kind of vlog feel if that's the style you're looking for. But it's still not fully available to most users as of now. So as it stands, Veo edges it on accessibility, but once Sora rolls out globally, it'll probably become the go-to for video generation. Now, at number 9, we have Gemini 2.5 Pro. It's sort of the deeper thinker of the Gemini family. It takes the calm, balanced tone that Gemini is known for and adds a little bit more reasoning, depth, and nuance. When you're doing detailed research, writing long-form text, or handling subtle analysis, this one tends to give responses that feel considered rather than rushed. It's not the fastest, but it's generally pretty impressive, and the pacing often pays off in the quality of the output. It's not the most powerful model anymore, but it's still one of the most popular because it's often very thoughtful and the quality of the output can't be disputed. At number 8 is Claude 4.1 Opus. This might not be Anthropic's flagship anymore, but I still think it deserves recognition. It has this thoughtful, almost academic tone that makes it great for analysis and writing. Even though it's now been superseded by Claude 4.5 Sonnet, there's a steadiness to Opus that I personally appreciate. It handles complex queries gracefully and feels like it's genuinely reflecting before it responds. Up until recently, this was my go-to model for coding where possible. It's now since been superseded, but it was state-of-the-art at the time and still has some use. Next is Gemini 2.5 Flash. This is one of those models that just is easy to work with. It's quick, responsive, and has a knack for explaining things clearly. If you're teaching, summarizing, or even brainstorming ideas, it's one of the best for that. The integrated image generation, nicknamed Nano Banana, is also one of the most impressive visual systems out there. You can almost think of Flash as the fast creative assistant, perfect for when you want clarity and speed without losing too much nuance. Like I said, 2.5 Pro is better, but this is almost as good and is much faster and has the added advantage of the image model. The next one is GPT-5 Codex. GPT-5 Codex is my go-to when I just want clean, precise code. It's not the most conversational model, but it doesn't need to be. It's focused, efficient, and incredibly sharp when it comes to bug fixing or refactoring. If you give it a clearly defined problem, it'll often solve it without adding unnecessary complexity. It doesn't explain its reasoning as naturally as other coding models do, but it's the one I trust when it comes to just wanting to get the task to work properly without any other bloat. By the way, if you want to keep up to date with all of the latest developments in the world of AI, from new model releases to best practices, feel free to subscribe to my free weekly AI newsletter. You'll also get access to a range of resources, including a more specific list of the best AI models for each purpose. Now back to the list. At number 5 we have Grok 4. It's a really interesting one because it's tied deeply into the X ecosystem, so it excels at real-time information and up-to-date research. If you want to know what's happening right now, it's better than almost anything else. It also has this slightly creative, nuanced tone that makes it feel more human at times when compared to other models. It's not always the most polished model, but it's definitely one of the most useful when you're working with live data or trending topics. Now, at number 4 is GPT-5, the base model. This is the model I probably use most often day to day. It's fast, highly usable, and precise enough for most tasks. It's also multimodal, so it can handle text, images, and other formats effortlessly, which makes it incredibly versatile. Think of it as the natural successor to GPT-4o, refined, reliable, and trained across a wide range of use cases. Whether it's creative writing, quick analysis, health questions, or simple research, GPT-5 base just works. It's the model I reach for when I want speed and quality without overkill. This brings me on to number 3, which is GPT-5 Pro. This is arguably the best model available today in terms of raw capability. It's very powerful and accurate in most cases and can reason through incredibly complex tasks. The only reason it isn't higher on this list is practicality. It's slower, more expensive, and pretty much limited to the Pro plan, which costs at the moment around $200 a month. For most people, that's not justifiable, but for professionals who rely on precision and power, it's absolutely worth it in my opinion, especially when there isn't really anything better right now. When you have the patience and the budget, GPT-5 Pro is a level above anything else in my opinion. Next, at number 2 is Claude 4.5 Sonnet. This is easily one of my favorite models for coding and technical problem solving. What really makes it stand out is how agentic it feels. It follows complex multi-step instructions pretty accurately, and it bridges the gap between natural language and code pretty efficiently. You can describe what you want in plain English and it just seems to understand. It can also reverse that process, explaining complex code in a way that makes sense. It's perfect for software engineers because it doesn't just generate code, it understands it. Compared to something like GPT-5 Codex, which is more precise and focused and arguably better at pure coding, 4.5 Sonnet is better at software engineering as a whole. Everything from DevOps to debugging works very well. And if you're someone who's trying to learn how to code, then this is probably the best model for that. And now this takes us to the number 1 spot, which is, in my opinion, GPT-5 Thinking. The reason I say this is because of balance. It's powerful enough to handle deep reasoning, coding, and research, but still fast enough for general use. I find that it consistently delivers the right kind of answer, whether that's analytical, creative, or factual, without needing much more refinement. It's also one of the few models that feels genuinely versatile. It can handle health queries, write stories, solve maths problems, and even perform research with impressive accuracy. And because it's internet enabled, it often pinpoints information quite precisely. For me, this is the model that represents the best combination of intelligence, efficiency, and practicality, and that's why it's at the top of my list. So these are my top 10 favorite models right now. If things change dramatically, I'll be sure to bring out another video just like this, but let me know in the comments what your top 3 would be, or if there's a model you think deserves a spot here. And if you found this video interesting, I'd really appreciate if you could like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.